El siguiente programa es patrocinado por Conceptos Group of Companies, Conceptos Construction, Expresa Marketing y La Grota Restaurante.
Hey guys, welcome to After the Whistle. I'm your host, Stefan Spira, alongside my co-hosts,
Francesco Lopresti
and Adam Morenzi.
It is May 28th, 2020, and we are coming to you live from Genesis 360, like we do every other Thursday. We thank you for joining us tonight. And there's first off, there's a little bit of a different thing that we're going to be doing today. We're actually going to be on for an hour during tonight's show instead of our usual 8 to 8:30. We figured now there's a little bit more news in the sports world, so we found that we didn't have enough time to really get into everything that we wanted to, so we're going to go on for an hour now, and we hope you guys stick through, watch us for the whole hour, because we are going to be revealing the answers to our trivia questions from last week, so stay tuned for that. But first of all, we're going to be talking about the NHL's return to play format, because that is the biggest news of this week. And it's a really huge positive step towards getting one of our big North American sports back, and that's hockey. So when you guys heard this news on Tuesday come out of Gary Bettman's mouth, what did you think?
I just thought, thank God for hockey. Thank God it's coming back. It's about time.
Well, the one thing that we have to remember as well is that it's still not a guarantee. It's just a format. It's a plan, right?
Well, you asked me what I thought, so that's what I thought. I was like, it's going to be coming back. But no, you're right. It is just a format. There's still a bunch of other things that need to happen first in order for the playoffs to potentially even run. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just glad that they actually have a plan. I don't know. What do you think, Adam?
No, the more teams get involved, the better. I think I ran with the right format. I'm just excited to get some kind of sport back, right? Gary Bettman said it best. It's everyone's looking for some sort of normal, and hopefully hockey will help provide some of that.
So for people who didn't really pay attention to like the details of the return to play format, let's just break it down for you quickly. So it's going to be a 24-team playoff format, as we mentioned, where the top 4 teams in each conference will basically clinch the playoffs. And they won't have to play in this initial best-of-5 qualifying series. So the other 16 teams will have to compete in this best-of-5 qualifying series to determine the normal first-round playoff matches. Mm-hmm. And now, like as you guys know, this qualifying series will be a best-of-5, so it'll be a little bit shorter than what we're usually used to. But I think that's the right choice in terms of, just kind of picking the playoff seeds and then going from there. So it'll be 5th versus 12th, 6th versus 11th, 7th versus 10th, and 8th versus 9th in each conference. So this means that 8 teams out of the playoff picture at the time when the season paused will get a chance to be in the. And we'll go over some important dates as well. So according to Gary Bettman, June 1st, teams can begin practicing and working out in small groups at their team facilities. And then the next step after that would be training camp. And it was just released today that training camp is not going to start until at least July 10th. So that's the earliest date training camp can begin, but the players can continue to work out in their team facilities in small groups before that. And then finally, in late July to early August, that is the estimated time when the qualifying round could possibly begin. And we also understand, like I mentioned before, that this plan, it's not set in stone. It could be all derailed if we see like a second wave of coronavirus cases, or if the health officials just say that it's not safe to play, then this could all be thrown in the garbage. So I think we just have to keep that in mind as well, as I know it's really exciting news. And as hockey fans, we want to like rejoice right now and jump up and down. But I just want to tell the people out there, be excited, but know that it's not set in stone yet. Mm-hmm. So overall, like you guys are completely happy with this format. You don't have any, negative feedback.
Well, I guess there's some things that you could like nitpick and say that needs some improvement. But overall, I feel like it's the best format that the league could have done. Like all the teams that should be in the playoffs are relatively have a bye or have a chance to make it in there. Obviously, there are some teams that be hard done by because pretty much if you finished first, home ice advantage really doesn't count. So what was the point of finishing first? Like that really kind of just defeats the whole purpose. But
it's really good that there's no home ice advantage and based on this format. That's going to be really good for a lot of teams, and it's going to really level the playing field, I think.
No, I completely agree. Even just for a team, for example, that was on the fringe and now has a chance. I mean, you have a real chance to be an underdog here. Run the.
It's really crazy because like
when they start in the wild card and actually have a significant chance at making the playoffs.
Yeah, if you look at a team like Montreal, like before the season went on pause, they were 10 points out of a playoff spot. So now they get a chance. Like all they got to do is win 3 games, albeit against the Pittsburgh Penguins. But still, if you look at it in kind of a black and white lens, like all you've got to do is win 3 games against the Penguins, and you're in the playoffs. And you were like 10 points out of a playoff spot before this. So it works. A team like Montreal, it works out.
But on the other side, a team like Pittsburgh or Edmonton could get hard done by.
Yes,
and
exactly.
We're going to get into our picks a little bit after the first commercial break, but I honestly think Edmonton is a team that got really screwed by this.
Yeah, so just for people who don't know, right, like Edmonton, just before the pause happened for the league, Edmonton were like securely in the playoffs. Like they had a playoff spot locked up, same as Pittsburgh, for example. But now with this new format, pretty much they have to go through the qualifying round. So hypothetically, if Edmonton loses, they are out of they didn't even make it to the playoffs,
right.
And they already had us. There's also other teams that are in that situation, but for a team like Pittsburgh and Edmonton, they're hoping that they don't lose.
Well, yeah, Pittsburgh's record in the regular season through 69 games, 40, 23, and 6, 86 points. That's a playoff record.
Yeah.
They could be out.
Yeah.
But
well, Adam,
I
was going to say quickly too. Adam, what do you think about Montreal and their odds? Like, how do you feel about their chances of maybe progressing farther into this playoffs? I think Adam's having a little.
This kind of playoff. Hello? Hey.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Hey, man.
The luxuries of doing this from home. I think this kind of format, it absolutely serves a team like Montreal, right? They're already on the outside, and in particular the Habs. I mean, they're a team that's built on characteristics that not a lot of other teams are built on. They have a solid backstop in Carey Price, and they are a smaller, faster team. Now, that might not necessarily translate over an entire season, but when you only need to win 3 games, that could be enough to stop a stronger team. For example, the team that Montreal would play first would be Pittsburgh. Maybe Carey Price, a healthy Carey Price who's well rested, comes back and there's enough in him to hold off Crosby and Malkin, for example. And the rest of the team can shut it down and do what they've done all year, which is possess the puck very well, move it around, and win a 2-1, 2-0, 1-0 kind of game, or win 3 of them and find a way into the playoffs. Whereas they wouldn't have made it if the season had ended normally.
So, Adam, are you saying that people shouldn't sleep on the Canadians?
I don't think you could sleep on anyone, let alone the Habs, obviously. But I mean, I don't think anyone could be slept just given this whole situation.
Yeah. You know what? To kind of go off of what Adam was saying, it's like, especially in this type of format, it's really anybody's game because I kind of look at it like the start to the regular season. So pretty much it's not real hockey. So pretty much teams are just going to be relying on their most skilled players to get the job done for that first qualifying round. So if your team is very skilled, like for example, obviously we know the Leafs, right? Leafs have a bunch of skilled players. So that benefits them because it's not a regular season. So it's also not regular hockey. It's going to benefit them as well too. The Canadians also have a bunch of healthy players. But the biggest thing is that Carey Price will be back and healthy, which changes the game completely for a team like Pittsburgh that they have to face.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wouldn't sleep on any. I think Pittsburgh, with their experience, they're still going to beat the Habs. But I do agree with Adam. I think the Habs have a fighting chance. But like I was saying before with Edmonton, I really feel like there's a good chance that Chicago's going to beat them in that series.
Yeah,
Chicago, they've got 3 Stanley Cup rings in the last 10 years. They've got guys Payne and Taves who know how to win big hockey games. So I don't know. And Chicago was playing decent hockey just before the season pause. So they were coming on. They were hovering around a playoff spot. So if I'm Edmonton, I'd be scared. And it just so happens Edmonton always gets screwed by the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think for like going off of what you said about Chicago is that this is just kind of like it's Chicago's last chance to pretty much solidify another run at the Cup, right? You got, even though they may be older, right? Like Keith and Seabrook and stuff like that. Like they're still the core that's there from their dynasty, so they have another chance to go at it. And pretty much, other than Draisaitl and McDavid and James Neal, right? Even Nugent Hopkins, I guess, for Edmonton too. The team is a little bit. It's a good matchup, I think. And I think maybe the advantage will lead maybe towards Chicago because they have that experience.
Right. So, what do you guys? I just lost my train of thought. I was going to ask you something about. Anyway, so we'll get back into it after once I can remember what I was going to say. But so assuming that the playoffs are actually going to start sometime in August, is it safe to say like 100% there's going to be no fans in the arena for the entire duration of the playoffs? You guys think? Yeah.
It has to be. Because I think they said that there's no more than like 50 personnel are allowed to travel with the team as well too.
That includes like trainers, coaches, players, media.
Yeah, all of that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that too, but it's really crazy to think. And do you think they're going to do something like they do in Europe with putting cardboard fans in the stands?
Honestly, we kind of talked about this between ourselves before the show. I know Adam doesn't really like that idea, but I think it's a different aspect to kind of make it feel somewhat normal that there are things in the stands because people are used to seeing something in the stands. So maybe those cardboard cutouts of the fans are something that adds a little element. But I just to kind of answer your question, no, I don't think that there's going to be any fans. I probably don't even think there's going to be fans maybe even at the start of next season as well too. Just to be completely honest and maybe just keep it safe that you don't run the risk. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be any fans during these playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say, especially with everything that's going on right now. So the other question I was going to ask you guys was that whoever wins this 2020 Stanley Cup, this is like a really burning question right now. Is there going to be, in your opinion, an asterisk around this Stanley Cup win for whoever wins it?
I don't
let's
think
say the Leafs win the Stanley Cup. We know people in Western Canada are going to say this is not a real cup. This doesn't count, right?
No, I think it still is. I think that if you go through the playoffs. I mean, other than this beginning portion, you still have to beat out teams. You still need to win series, and you still need to win. Like at the end of the day, you still need to win. So I think it's still a legitimate playoff.
No, if anything,
at the end of the day, though, if the Leafs do win, I'm still going to ride you for it. But,
of course.
But in all seriousness, no, it's a real playoff. Give the winner a winner. It's not like the Astros where they cheated. It's they won.
Yeah, to go off your point there, like if anything, it's actually even harder because everybody's healthy.
Exactly.
Everybody, there's going to be, no one's going to be injured going into this. All the players that were on injured reserve before the season ended are going to be back. Everyone's going to be at full steam, ready to go. All these players have been in quarantine. They've wanted to play hockey. They're going to be excited to start going again. I think it's going to be really good hockey, really competitive.
See, I don't disagree. I think that it's probably going to be the most competitive form of playoffs that we've seen in quite some time, just because everyone is going to have a chance at it. But I am going to be the one person. I don't think it is a real playoffs. It really isn't. And for as for the rest of history, there will be an asterisk. I think if you ask most players, is this a real playoffs? They're all going to say no. Everyone is going to say no. It's not a real playoffs. But it is what it is. I guess you have to work with what you have, and this is the best option for them. But this isn't a real playoffs. It was like when the Leafs made the playoffs in the lockout shortened year. It wasn't a real season. If it was a real season, the Leafs never would have made it, and it would have been garbage. It shouldn't even been there.
People are going to call this the Corona Cup.
That's a great name. That's a great name, Corona Cup. There we go. # Corona Cup.
I kind of hope the Leafs don't win this year, because I don't want them to be known as the team that won the Corona Cup.
But hey, then
imagine the Leafs win the cup and there's not a parade because it's not allowed.
But wouldn't it be such a Leafs thing to happen that we win the cup now in this sort of environment?
I know. Look at this whole.
It absolutely would. It
This whole
absolutely
season-
would, and Stefan would still go out for a one-man parade.
Oh, no, people would still go out. Are you kidding me? Like, how would you be able to shut that down?
That's okay. I know I just said it's not a real playoffs, and I fully agree with that, and I fully believe that. But if the Leafs win, I will still celebrate
I'm
as
going out. I'm
like
going
my life.
Oh my god.
I will
There's
die a
people
really happy man.
outside the arena still. Outside Scotiabank Arena still.
Oh, of course.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
also,
my
just
God.
really quickly too, because I know we're gonna cut the commercial in like a little bit. We're gonna have a commercial break, but I was gonna say there's also really don't know which hub cities they're gonna be playing in, right? So
Right.
I have the
Yeah.
list of the hub cities that are potential candidates. So it's Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Edmonton, Vegas, LA, Minneapolis, Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Vancouver. And I wanted to see what do you guys, if you guys were to pick, which two would you think would be the ideal place to have the hub cities for these playoffs?
I'd probably
Well,
say,
the first
honestly, Vancouver or Toronto. Like, we have way less cases than the U.S., so it's a no-brainer to me to have it here.
So the
What
point
about
I'm
you,
going to
Adam?
make is that unfortunately the states beat us to the punch when it comes to logistics, where they've allowed several governors have allowed or considered athletes essential servants to the public.
No, I
So-
know. Like, I think
Oh,
they'll.
are we talking like in an ideal world?
Yeah, but like by the time this starts, like this is gonna start in July, August. You don't think things
True,
are
but I
more
mean-
up then?
I would hope, but I mean, just the way things are going, like Toronto, I don't think it would happen sooner rather than later. I mean, we haven't even increased the number of people we're allowed to see. We can't even see people outside of our household yet. So,
Well, we're not going to the games.
what's that?
We're not going to the games. We're not going to be in the stands.
I know, but they're talking about the logistics of actually making an arena run, right? So, I mean, when it comes to it, I mean, I think Vegas would happen for the West, and for the East, I would imagine something. The East would be hard.
Well, ideally, I'm going to go against both of you guys. Toronto and Vegas, I think, have the worst odds of hosting it. They have the worst
Really?
odds, in my opinion, because if you look at it objectively, already the NHL said that they don't want it in places that have a high risk of corona, that have had high tolls of it. So Toronto has had that. Vegas is one of the most traveled destinations in the world. There's no chance that they're having it either Toronto or Vegas. I think a team like not a team, but a city like Chicago or maybe even like Vancouver probably have better chance. To be honest, I don't even think any Canadian cities have a good chance.
Well,
at
the
this.
disadvantage is that players have to go through customs if they come to Canada, right? So, I mean, it's just, I guess it's a bit of a hassle.
Well, I don't even think it's
Yeah.
more of that, but it's also
There's
that
more American teams.
Trudeau has also said that there's going to be no hub cities, that there's going to be no hockey in Canada.
Well, Trudeau's another story. He said there's going to be no nothing, but we're not going to get into politics right now.
No, but you have to take that into consideration. That's why I say that Toronto probably has the worst odds. There's no
Yeah.
chance that the hub city is going to be Toronto.
I can see.
And
it
you
for-
bring up a good point. You bring up a good point, Francesco, in that Chicago is a huge flight hub. So we would be able to get a lot of the players in, especially if they're coming in from overseas or Europe or wherever. You more often than not will be able to get a flight into Chicago.
Okay, guys, we're gonna have to go to commercial now. So after the break, we're gonna talk about we're gonna break down every Canadian team playoff series, and we're gonna just give you our thoughts about the series and pick our winners. So we might actually just go through the entire playoff bracket and give you our picks. But we'll break down this series involving Canadian teams in more detail. So we'll see you guys after the break.
Welcome to Conceptos Group of Companies. We have over 30 years of successful experience in the industrial, pharmaceutical, and food construction area. Check our website, conceptos.ca, or contact us at 647-809-6218. Conceptos Group of Companies, building your dreams. We are La Grota on Main and contributing to the policies implemented by the province of Ontario in this situation that should you need us all, we will only be receiving delivery orders through our email lagrotaonmain@gmail.com or by our telephone 647-328-0208. With our recognized quality and excellent service, we continue to deliver as always our exquisite menu at La Grota on Main. A delight on the palate. La Grota on Main Restaurant, Unionville, Markham.
Hey guys, welcome back to After the Whistle. So, like Stefan alluded to before the break, we're going to get into all the matchups for this qualifying round. So, we're going to get right into it. We're not going to waste any time. So, just for everyone to know, so for the eastern side of the qualifying rounds, the Bruins, Tampa Bay, Washington, Philadelphia all have a bye into the actual playoffs, so they won't be participating. So, the first matchup for this one is Montreal versus Pittsburgh, as we talked about it a little bit before the break. So I want to get Adam, I'll ask you first since you are the Montreal fan. Between Montreal and Pittsburgh, who do you think is going to win?
Well, just like they're my team, so I'm gonna have to pick Montreal. I think that would be, and a lot of analysts are saying it's gonna be the most exciting series probably of the first round. And I would agree with them. If everything it's hyped up to be actually does come true, I think it'll be a really exciting series. But I'm hoping that Carey Price pulls it in. He's the backstop that he was 3 years ago, and hopefully him healthy and rested gets the Habs through this first round.
All right, Stefan?
I'm going to give you two answers. So basically Montreal is Carey Price. So like Adam said, if Carey Price stands on his head and plays his best hockey of the season, then Montreal has a chance. If Carey Price, plays mediocre like he has been for most of this season, he's been inconsistent this season. You can't argue with that. I think
100%.
I think the Penguins they're going to take the series in 3. If Carey Price, I'm picking the Penguins in a sweep.
Okay, all right. He put even a number on it.
Not just because I hate the Canadians, but because if Carey Price can't stand on his heads, I don't think the Canadians can survive.
All right.
I would have to agree.
All right, so it's tied. Me personally, I'll give my answer. So I'm going to ask everybody, and then I'm going to give mine. I also voted for Pittsburgh as well too. I think that, yes, Carey Price is a huge part of it, and it's going to be a tough battle. But if you look at both teams compared to each other, Pittsburgh edges them out, right? So that's just how I feel. Going on to the next matchup, we have Carolina versus the New York Rangers. So, Stefan, this time I'll start with you. Who do you think is going to take it?
Carolina, New York Rangers. So, in my opinion, I'm taking the Rangers any day because Carolina's had an up and down year. They've been in and out of a playoff spot. But the Rangers over the last 2 months of the season, they were on fire. They were playing the best hockey they've played all season. You have Artemi Panarin, who's lighting up the league. You have Mika Zibanejad, who had his 5-goal game. They have three starting goalies.
Yeah.
The Rangers are an up-and-coming team. They're pretty deep, and they play hard every night. And right now, I know everybody has been in this quarantine together, and the playing field's going to be level because all the injured players are coming back. But I still think the Rangers, there's still some unfinished business there. They were a team that was hovering, they were on the heels of everyone in front of them in the playoff race. So I picked the Rangers in 4. So I think they're going to win the series 3-1.
All right, Adam.
I have to agree with Stefan for all the reasons that he said. They're a young team. Their goaltenders are solid. If you're playing a best of 3, and they're a team that only were 2 points back at Carolina, I give it to the Rangers. They're built for the playoffs. I think they're gonna have a solid shot.
It's hard to do these predictions right now because we're not used to predicting a best of 5. So I'm like, wait, what's a realistic? What's a realistic prediction with this format?
Fair enough. Okay, so you both have picked the Rangers. I'm actually on the other hand. I picked Carolina. I think Carolina is gonna edge it out. I might have to eat that. If, like we said, this is all hypothetical because, for one, like we said earlier, we don't even know if these games will actually happen, but we're speaking like we know that it will happen. So I personally might have to eat these words, but I'm sticking with Carolina. Like you said, New York Rangers have probably the best 3 goalies, like best 3 tandem in the league. And also they're Swedish, and Sweden also had the rinks open. So they're actually able to skate and actually play hockey. But Other than that, I still think Carolina's going to edge it out, right? They have Sebastian who's also one of the top scorers in the league. Teravainen. They have Dougie Hamilton too. Jacob Slavin. Niederreiter as well too. They have a good team. I think they personally have a better team than New York. Just New York has, they have Lundqvist. They have also Panarin, who's also one of the best scorers in the league. So I personally feel that Carolina is going to edge that out. I don't think it will be a sweep. I think it'll be 3-2.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. And then moving on, we have the New York Islanders versus Florida Panthers. Who do you guys think?
This is a very interesting series. So you take the Islanders. They had such a great start to the season, and it looked like they were really going to tear the league up. But then in the second half, they've been one of the worst teams. Mm-hmm. So like going into this break, this season pause, they were really struggling, and they were kind of hanging on to a playoff spot by a string. And then on the other side, you have the Florida Panthers, which have been up and down all season. They can't seem to find any consistency. So you have two struggling teams going head to head here. So I think, in my opinion, this is going to be a close series, and it's going to be a long series. So, long in terms of the format. So I don't know which team to take, honestly, but my gut is going to go with the Islanders because if you look at their lineup, they are a better team on paper. So I'm going to take the Islanders in 5 games.
All right. Adam?
So it looks like Stefan took all my notes. I'm picking the Islanders because, again, like Stefan said, on paper they're a better hockey team, but otherwise, all season they're back. Both of these teams are back and forth. They're pretty. I mean, if you look at it, it's pretty even. But if you go on paper and you look at skill, the Islanders have the edge, so you're gonna have to give it to them. And I see this being like a 3-2 series as well. Just something that drags on just because one night one team shows up and the other night the other does. So just comes down to who actually plays the best and if anyone really decides to take things into their own hands and step up.
All right. So I think this is the first time that we all agree is that I'm also voting for the New York Islanders. I think personally that the Florida Panthers have just been too up and down. Like they hired Joel Quenneville at the start of the year, like one of the best coaches of all time in the NHL, but their team is just so inconsistent. Like they signed Bobrovsky for as their goaltender, and he's been an absolute joke for them. Like he can't get it together. The team is just not. I don't know. I guess like we can say it all at once, but inconsistent is the biggest thing.
Vincent Trocheck too at the trade deadline.
Yeah, and that was a little bit weird. They started off pretty bad, but they came back. They were looking okay, but they're just up and down. Where personally, I feel like the Islanders have more talent overall. And like I said, way back in the first block of the show, is that I think that skilled players are going to make the difference in this first qualifying round. Teams are going to rely heavily. And when you have, Matt Barzal, you have Jordan Eberle, Anders Lee, Josh Bailey, the Islanders edge that one out, in my opinion. And now we saved the best for last, Toronto versus Columbus. Adam, I'm going to start with you because I already know where Stefan's going to go. So, Adam.
So, I think that the Toronto Maple Leafs will actually find a way to lose. You like what I did with that one, eh? You like what I did with that one?
I knew you
were going to say they're going to win. I think they're going to lose. Why? Because I think they're a terrible playoff team. Stefan?
That's it?
That was okay. Also, quickly, too, we have 10 minutes before our next break, so we'll try to keep that
a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So, I think it's going to be a close series. Honestly, I know I'm a Leafs homer, and I could easily say that the Leafs are going to win the series in 3, but I don't think they are. Just because it's a level playing field. Columbus, like the Leafs this season, have been inconsistent. So, but then when you break it down, you look at the two lineups. Columbus really doesn't have much up front, and the Leafs have a lot of firepower up front. So it's going to come down to, goaltending. Obviously, Freddie Anderson needs to play well if the Leafs want to win the series. Plain and simple. We all know how much the Leafs suck at defense. So that's going to be a huge factor. Austin Matthews is going to have a good series if the Leafs want to win. But the Columbus Blue Jackets they play hard. They don't quit, right? So they're all season long. They've been battling injuries. People have counted them out. They lost Panarin at the beginning of the year, and people basically said they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. So they came out. They're finding ways to win. They're battling every night. They never quit. You have a coach, in John Tortorella, that knows how to get his players riled up to play. So I think the Leafs are going to win this series. I'd say they're going to win it in either 4 or 5. So they're going to win it either 3-1 or 3-2. But I don't think that it's going to be a clean sweep for the Leafs by any means.
No, and just adding in my my opinion as well too. I think Columbus is always one of those teams that give the hard time. They're always just. It doesn't matter when in the season that they play. It seems like they always split the series with like whenever they play. Like so, whether like the Leafs will win one game and then the Columbus will win the next. The only thing, obviously, I'm picking the Leafs. If anyone didn't know that, I'm picking Toronto. That's my pick for that. I just feel like I know I sound like a broken record, but the skilled players are going to make the difference. And when you have a team of Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Tyson Barrie, Morgan Riley is going to be coming back as well too. If the playoffs happen in August, right? Think about it. Riley's back, Muzzin's back.
Well, Riley
Johnson's
was
back.
Right.
Yeah, but actually healthy and back, you know? But on the other hand, too, right, Columbus will have Korpisalo back. Seth Jones is going to be back healthy, and even Josh Anderson might be back. But for me personally, I think the Leafs are going to have this. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be easy. We're looking at probably another 3-2 series.
Well, nothing's going to be easy because if the Leafs get by this, they're facing Boston again. So nothing's going to be for our Leafs.
Let's focus. All right, so we just went through the East. We're going to go quickly over through the West side. So again, the 4 teams that have made it to the next round, to the actual playoffs in the West are the St. Louis Blues, the Colorado Avalanche, Vegas, and Dallas. So they are through. The first matchup we have is Edmonton versus Chicago. And Stefan, I'll let you start that off.
This one's going to be a really interesting series. And I know we talked about this a little bit already before the last break. But I'm taking Chicago in 5 games. I think this is going to be a lot closer series than people think, just because you have, Kane and Taves have 3 Stanley Cup rings. This team knows how to kind of flip the switch in the playoffs. I know like the last few years they've missed the playoffs. They just haven't been able to, find that consistency. And, some of their players are aging and the young guys, they're bringing in a lot of young guys. But I think that, when it comes down to it in a playoff series, Chicago, all they need to do is win 3 games. And they were playing some pretty good hockey before the break, too. They were starting to come on a bit. Kane was playing incredible. I think it's going to be a close series, but I think Chicago has a real decent chance at upsetting the Oilers here. And I know it's unfortunate for Edmonton fans who always have to deal with this crap in the playoffs. And they did kind of get screwed by this because Edmonton, they did clinch a playoff spot before the season paused. So, the fact that they have to play Chicago to solidify even a playoff position, it sucks for them, but it's going to be a hard series, and I think Chicago is going to take it, honestly.
All right, Adam.
Experience.
I think it'll be an interesting series as well. I think Chicago's actually got a really good shot. I agree with Stefan once again. Experience is worth something, right? Whether they're old or not, they have the rings, they have the experience, they've done it, and now they've been handed a playoff spot. So they don't really need to fight for it. Now they're in, and now they got everything to prove, nothing to lose. And you look at Edmonton, it's a team that has a reputation of doing the complete opposite. Sorry?
Of choking.
Oh.
Reputation of choking.
Exactly, yeah. So honestly, you look at it, and it's kind of a tale of two different stories, right? So I think Chicago's got a chance to pull it through in a long series.
All right, and I'm going to agree there too. I picked Chicago. I bet you I probably already said it even in our first block, but I'm picking Chicago for this. I don't really want to go over it too much because I said everything, but I just feel that they have the strongest core compared to Edmonton. They have a better core, so that's where my vote goes. So next up, we have Nashville versus Arizona. I'll let you start off.
Me? I think Arizona gets their ass kicked.
Honestly,
Arizona's Arizona. I think they'll find a way to lose.
I think
they'll find a way to lose, and I think this can be a quick forecast for all of us if we want to chime in.
Yeah, I think this is the worst series in the entire playoffs. This is I'm not interested in this series at all. The Coyotes are slow. They're not a very skilled team. They did have a good start at the beginning of the year, but they really fizzled out, and I'm pretty sure they're close to 500 by the time the season went on pause. So they're lucky to be even be in this position. Nashville hasn't played up to their usual standard this season, but they do have playoff success. So I think that, like Chicago, they can flip the switch. And I think this is a short series. This is a 3-game series, Nashville sweep.
Yeah, I'm going to agree.
Yeah.
Nashville pretty much are going to probably wipe the floor with Arizona, right? They have just a better team overall, and I think this is probably the best matchup that they could have asked for going into these qualifying rounds, so I'm picking Nashville as well. Moving on, this is the second last one. We have Vancouver versus Minnesota. Stefan?
This is going to be a really fast series, a fast-paced series. But I think, again, like the last series we just talked about, I think Vancouver is going to just have their way with Minnesota and win it in either 3 or 4 games. They're fast, they're young, they're kind of like the Leafs of 2 years ago in the sense that they've got, what's his name? Elias Pettersson. He's coming back.
Yes.
I think he was injured, but he's going to be healthy going into the playoffs. Brock Besser's healthy. They've got a decent goaltender. Like Vancouver, they're an up-and-coming team. And Minnesota, they're older, they're slower. And I'm really actually surprised that Minnesota was even in the position they were in when the season went on pause, because they had a horrible start to the season. They couldn't score goals. Bruce Boudreau was, in the hot seat. They almost fired him. So Minnesota is lucky to be where they are, and Vancouver is an up-and-coming skilled team. I really have a good feeling about Vancouver going to this series. 4 games.
All right, Adam?
For the sake of time, I agree. I think Vancouver's going to wipe the floor with Minnesota. Young, fast team, solid. They know what they're doing. They're going to run with this.
All right, well, I don't think the same. I'm picking actually Minnesota.
Wow. That's surprising.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm picking Minnesota just because, right, yes, they had a very up and down season, but before the season stopped, they actually were on the up and up. They were like 7-3 and something like that. I know they had 7 wins, so they actually were trajecting up. Dubnyk was starting to play well too. So I just feel personally that Minnesota is going to edge it out. But also, I should have said this at the start, what I kind of did with New York, but pretty much any team that has Swedes on them is probably going to have a good chance because Sweden has had hockey rinks open, so they actually are training. So maybe I'll be wrong on some of my picks, but for this one, I'm going with Minnesota. And lastly, we have the Calgary Flames versus the Winnipeg Jets. Stefan, actually, you went first last time, so Adam, you go first this time.
I think this will be a fun series, actually. So I'm going to pick the Flames just because of more of to me, I feel like they're more of an all-around team. And then when you look at Winnipeg, they're a team that rides the playoff atmosphere and their fans. They heavily rely on their fans. And I know that, that's not something that does not exist as a product on the rink, but it does affect the product on the rink. So when you remove that element of the game and you have these players that are so used to being in the spotlight and running with this, have that removed, I think Calgary's a better team on paper. I think Calgary wins this in a moderately long series. I think it's a 4-game series.
All right, Stefan?
In my opinion, I think this is going to be the most exciting series of the playoffs. These two teams are very, there's been a lot of drama this season, and they're in the same conference. They play each other a lot. There's a lot of hatred there. Not as much as Calgary and Edmonton hate, but there is some hatred there. There is some level of intensity, and I think it's going to be a really close series. I'd take Winnipeg in 5, just because they are, I think, on paper a better team, and they really struggled with injuries this season. They've been decimated with injuries this season, like even worse than the Leafs, even worse than Columbus. Winnipeg, like the fact that they are still in the playoff spot when the season went on pause is amazing. So the fact that they even got there is crazy, and now they're going to be healthy. They're going to be hungry. Patrick Laine is going to be on fire. He's going to pot so many goals in this series. Winnipeg's going to take it in 5, but it's going to be close because Calgary is a good team.
All right, and just to end it as well, I'm picking Calgary. I think that I do agree that this is probably going to be one of the most entertaining series. It's going to be a fun battle. I personally think Calgary is going to edge it out. I just feel like they have a better team overall. And just to kind of go off of what Stefan said, because it was funny, because this is the point that I had not to pick Winnipeg, was that Laine said in an interview before, and he goes that I don't know how I'm going to play because I haven't skated in 2 months. So he was being brutally honest, and I think that honesty might have killed too much. I don't know if you're a Winnipeg fan, if you should be happy to hear that he hasn't been doing any work whatsoever. Granted, you're not allowed to skate, but you never know. You could find some ways around it.
You could find.
But yeah.
Anyways,
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go on another break, guys. But after the break, we're gonna get into some other not NHL news, some other sports news, and then we're gonna also give the answers to our questions. So stay tuned for that if you guys participated in the trivia last week, and we will be back momentarily.
Welcome to Conceptos Group of Companies. We have over 30 years of successful experience in the industrial, pharmaceutical, and food construction area. Check our website, conceptos.ca, or contact us at 647-809-6218. Conceptos Group of Companies, building your dreams. We are La Grota on Main and contributing to the policies implemented by the province of Ontario in this situation that should you need us all, we will only be receiving delivery orders through our email, lagrotaonmain@gmail.com, or by our telephone 647-328-0208. With our recognized quality and excellent service, we continue to deliver as always our exquisite menu at La Grota on Main. A delight on the palate. La Grota on Main Restaurant, Unionville, Markham.
Hey guys, welcome back. Starting off here with a sport other than hockey. We're going to be, I guess first we'll start talking about baseball. So a little bit of news coming out of the baseball world in terms of the players. So the union was actually presented with the proposal from Major League Baseball owners, and it looks like they are not happy. Players look like they are upset they're not going to be being paid their full salary for the year. If they do go back playing, it'll be a retroactive payment. So basically you get paid for the games that you play. What do you guys think of this?
Well, I think that they're being a little bunch of bait. I didn't know who was going to answer first, so I just took the mantle. But I think that the players are being a little wusses, to be honest with you. Like, we get that this is trying times and that you're not, like, everyone likes money. Don't get me wrong. We all want money. We all want what we're owed. But also, you're multi-million-dollar athletes. I think you can take a little bit of a dip, right? Obviously, it's very important, but it's going to be what, when the season starts, it's going to be what's the word that I'm looking for? It's going to be prorated. The salary is going to be prorated anyways. So you're going to be getting your money. I just don't know what the big fuss about it is, but I guess it's just human beings. We all want our money and we all want what we want. So.
Yeah, baseball players are the greediest players, in my opinion. Like, you make so much more money than everybody else in sports. Well, I mean, basketball is close, but
it is. Yeah, it's probably the hardest thing to do. Yeah, hitting a baseball is definitely the hardest thing to do. But also, when you have people like Bartolo Colon, who is also like 350 pounds and can pitch, I don't think you should be complaining about how much money you're getting because you're already getting paid a certain amount.
It's one of the least physically demanding sports.
Another point to make is, more often than not, it's the young players who are actually making these complaints, not the older players. So guys like Bartolo Colon are actually on Instagram and Twitter and whatever saying he's a free agent actually, and he's saying, I'm ready to play. If anyone wants me, sign me. I want to go. Meanwhile, you got guys like Blake Snell on Tampa Bay, who's one of the young rising stars in baseball. He's actually already been an all-star, who's going, I'm not going to play because I'm not getting paid my money.
See, and I guess that's the thing too. Like, me and Adam were talking a little about this before. I guess this does directly affect the younger players too, but also, like, you got to understand, you have a job doing the thing you love. You're playing the sport that you grew up playing. So don't have too many things to say about it. Like, yes, we understand you're not going to be getting paid the money that you wanted or that you think that you were going to get paid that year, but also everything's going to come back next season. And I think you're putting more of a target on your back if you're complaining more, because these veterans are going to look at you and say, you're not even you haven't even been in the league yet long enough to complain. What do you guys care?
That's what I'm saying. I know, like, these young players need to come into the, they need to learn that they have to earn it. They don't just come to the league expecting that you're going to get paid $100 million right away and don't like complain in this special circumstance because there's a pandemic going on that you're not getting paid your full salary. There's so many people out there even working a job right now because of the pandemic. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. And meanwhile, your job is to provide entertainment. I completely agree with you.
Crazy. Anyways, Francesco, do you want to get into the soccer news that's going on?
Yeah, I'll touch on it quickly, and then we'll get into our trivia questions. So pretty much, if you guys don't know, soccer has been back with Germany. This past weekend was the second week that the German Soccer League has been back. Just everything's been going smoothly so far. I personally have loved it because I actually have something to look forward to on the weekends. I can wake up and watch soccer, so it's pretty nice. Just one of the bigger matchups was on Tuesday, Bayern Munich defeated Borussia Dortmund. So it was a pretty big match. Bayern are in first and Dortmund are in second, and there was 4 points separating them at the time. So obviously with that win, they go 7 points ahead, so it's a nice little cushion they have. In other news, just pretty much Timo Werner for RB Leipzig scored a hat trick. So look, this guy's back 2 weeks and he's already scoring a hat trick, so that's pretty impressive, I think. And just to quickly give you some updates for the other leagues, it's good. It's looking good. Pretty much what's going to happen is the Premier League is set to resume on June 17th. La Liga is set to resume on June 11th. Serie A is set to return on June 20th. So those are all great signs that soccer will be coming back. For people who don't know, the French league was already announced that that it's canceled. That was announced a month ago, even 2 months ago. So that one's not going to happen. The Mexican league has also been canceled. So don't expect Mexican soccer to come back. And the MLS is still trying to create a process for how they're going to finish out the rest of their season. Like we said on our last show, that they're looking about a little tournament that they're going to do in Orlando. So they're still working on the process about that. At Disney World, it's going to be fun. But other than that, in mid-June, hopefully we have some soccer, so look forward to that.
Yeah, and also we probably should mention from a Canadian perspective, Alphonso Davies is playing some really good soccer right now.
You know what? I have to give a shout out to him. I was my friend Colin, who I think is watching right now, so he will know, I was very skeptical of the move for Alphonso Davies to go to Bayern Munich because I thought it was just another like PR move. You know, you sign the next big Canadian thing, right? Everything looked nice, but he's actually been performing very well. He's started every game under their new coach in the league and also in all competitions. So he is definitely a player to look out for. I don't think he's the best left. No, he's been amazing. I don't think he's the best left back in the world right now. Everyone has already said that he's the best. I personally don't believe that. I think we need to give him some time. But he has the potential to be the best Canadian soccer player. He probably is. Him and Christine Sinclair maybe are neck and neck, but watch out for Alphonso Davies. If you have time to spare, watch him play.
Yeah, it's a good. The future looks good for Canadian soccer.
It does. Him and Jonathan David are the two stars, so please look out for them.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's get into our answers from our questions from last week. So I will go. Actually, you know what, Francesco? I always go first. You can go first this time. Let's do it.
Well, dang, I appreciate it, man. All right. So just so we know, like we said, we make our videos every other week. So we posted trivia questions, these are the answers for them. Starting off with the first question, I'm going to read it off my phone. My light fell. Give me a second. There we go. All right. So you guys can see my face. There we go. All right. So the first question was, on this day in 2008, Manchester United won its third Champions League title. Who did they play and what was the score? I don't know. Do you guys think you guys know this off the top?
No. No.
So they beat Chelsea, and the score was 6-5 in penalties. So 1-1. The match was 1-1, went to penalties. This was famous for John Terry's slip. He went up to take a penalty, slipped, skied the ball. It was a meme for the longest time. Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, so the second question is, who is the most expensive player in football history? This one you guys might have a chance. I don't know if you guys...
Ronaldo?
It's a good shout, but no.
Is it? No, it's not Messi, is it?
No, it's not. So the record. So sorry, the most expensive player is Neymar. He cost with inflation and euros and all that. He cost $308 million when PSG signed him from Barcelona. So he holds the record as the most expensive.
Jeez, Cristiano slacking.
He is slacking. My third question was, in the 2013-14 season, Juventus set a European record for most points in a season. What was the total? Very quickly, do you guys think you know?
Most points in a season?
They set a record.
I'm saying, who's the player?
No. The team set a record for most points. So what was the point total?
Oh, no, I don't know the team.
No.
All right. Well, no, it's. I said Juventus set the record. It's what number?
What number? Like what? How many points?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't know.
Say 80.
Dude, this is a record-breaking. Okay, no. So just so you know, it's 102. 102 points.
102. Okay.
Okay.
I couldn't remember how many points you get for a win.
Three for a win, one for a draw.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna be like this in Adam's baseball question, so I shouldn't be getting
All
too
good.
excited.
All good.
Right. The fourth question is: in 2015, Sebastian Giovinco played his first season with Toronto FC. The question was, how many goals did he score that year? Very quickly, do you guys think you know?
30.
That's a good guess, Adam.
33.
Okay, so Adam, that's how many games he played that year. So you're right, but he scored 22 goals, which is still
Not bad.
that's still a good return in your first year. All right, and the fifth and final question was: only 3 players have ever won the World Cup as both a player and a coach. Didier Deschamps, Franz Beckenbauer are the first 2. Like not first 2, but they're the first 2 on my list. And there's 1 player missing. I probably know you guys have no idea who this is. So I'm just going to say the answer. The answer is Mario Zagallo for Brazil.
Didn't know that guy existed.
There you go. And now you know. Thank you for everyone who participated. Stefan, up to you. And then we'll let Adam close it out.
All right, here are my questions. So, question 1. Who scored a record of 10 hat tricks in one season?
And I guess Wayne Gretzky.
I was going to go Wayne as well.
Or maybe Yager.
No, Wayne Gretz.
All right, there we go.
It was Gretz. Okay, question 2. This NHL team had its first season in 1991, 1992, and hint, there are now 3 teams in this state, 3 NHL teams in this state.
I'm going to say it's the Kings.
Incorrect.
I'm going to say the Ducks.
You guys picked both the wrong teams. It was the San Jose Sharks.
We knew it was California. I knew it was California.
You know it's California.
All right, so that's question 2. San Jose Sharks, 1991-92. I'm pretty sure they had a decent season. They might have made the playoffs in their first season.
Dang.
Good on them.
But yeah, okay. So question 3. What is the sin bin in hockey terminology?
Oh,
it's easy.
that's the Zamboni driver.
Oh, come on.
No, that's a penalty box.
Yeah, it's the penalty box. You know, but like if you asked this to a non-hockey fan, it would be a tough question.
No, I know, but
It would be.
Okay, so question 4. How many face-up spots are there on a hockey rink? This is one will make you think.
5.
Wrong. There are 9.
No.
9.
Yeah, because
9 spots where the puck can be dropped from.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was actually thinking of the
right.
actual circle. I was just counting the actual circles on the ice.
Yeah, there's a circle and then there's one side and there's another side, right? You can drop it from.
All right.
That's one of those questions where it catches you not thinking.
Yeah.
That's the story of my schooling career.
Right. You know that.
Oh, God.
All right, question 5. Final question. In what province was Sidney Crosby born in Canada? If you don't get
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. All right, guys. So those are my questions. We should probably let people know as well. So going forward, we're going to be releasing our questions on, like next Thursday, we'll release our new questions, Francesco and I. But on Friday, we'll release the answers because we figure, you know, you guys don't want to wait a week to get the answers to these questions, especially when you've got Google at your fingertips and you can just search them up. So we're going to start giving you the answers the next day instead. So that you guys don't have to wait so long to do this, and we'll use this segment for something else, like a game between Francesco, Adam, and I, or something like that. So stay tuned for that. And Adam, we can go to your questions now.
Awesome. We're closing it off with some baseball questions, guys. Obviously, I mean, they're coming from me, so you know it's not going to be golf.
All right, I got my Google ready.
Oh, are you guys answering too?
I'll quickly, if we have time, I'll try to answer.
Right. We'll try
Yeah,
to
go
rush
ahead.
it.
You have
We'll
5
try to
minutes.
rush it. I'm going to try not to give away the answers for anyone else, though, who's watching. So first question, it's an easy one. Which MLB team has the most World Series wins, and how many do they have?
I'm
Don't
gonna
Google
say
it.
the New York Yankees. I think that's a safe bet. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna give us the answer, but
I don't think it's fun if I give you the answer, but all right, Yankees. You guys want to guess how many World Series wins they might have?
I'm gonna say like, I don't know if this is a good bet. This is a good guess, but I'm gonna say like 23.
I'd say 15.
I'll definitely say Francesco was closer.
Okay.
Which of the Toronto Blue Jays? Who is the Toronto Blue Jays' franchise leader in home runs? The top 3 players who lead the Blue Jays in home runs. I'm not going to make you guys guess the home run totals, but anyone who's answering on the computer, do it or challenge yourself. Try not to use Google. I mean, I didn't have to, so you shouldn't have to either if you're a baseball fan.
I really don't know, but I'm going to say because he was my favorite player at the time, Vernon Wells. I know that's wrong, but I like Vernon Wells.
He's up there, but not top 3.
Jose Bautista.
That's probably.
All right, he's in the top 3.
That's probably a safe bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the top 3.
Is Robbie Alomar in the? Is he there?
I'm thinking Alomar.
No. He was an average hitter, not a home run hitter, but solid. He's in the top 20.
Josh
Okay,
Donaldson.
so I'm covering the field.
Hey, JD could
All
be
good,
too.
all good. He's
JD.
not in the top 3, surprisingly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Guess he didn't play for them.
Not long enough, no. Okay, next question. Blue Monday is a term referred to by which baseball team? Bonus, if you guys can guess what the situation or event
Chicago White
involving it was. The White Sox, okay.
I just know that there's that day in January that's the most depressing day of the year, and it's a Monday. So I don't know. That's my factoid for the day.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess.
You guys.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna guess. I don't know. I'm gonna guess Colorado because of that high altitude. So there's some stuff going on.
Okay. For anyone who's watching and who wants to answer the questions, I'll give you a hint. It was Canada's second team after the Toronto Blue Jays.
There you go.
That gives it away.
Gives it away.
Okay, last 2 questions. I mean, we ended it last time, the baseball questions, with a question about Babe Ruth. So the last 2 have to do with Babe Ruth as well. First one, where was Babe Ruth's first professional home run hit?
I'm gonna say
So he played for Boston first, and then played for New York.
So
he also played in the minor leagues. He also played in the minor leagues, and that's professionals.
He hit it.
Where was his?
In New York. I think that's very ironic. That's very.
Yeah.
You guys think New York? All right. And then, which team did he hit the home run against?
Well, if it's the minor team, I don't know what the New
Yeah,
York.
so that's what makes it hard. That's what makes it
Team
hard.
names were all different back then too.
Yeah.
They were so.
Yeah, New York
it makes it harder.
Yankees.
The
It makes it
Yankees.
harder, but they were actually the New York Giants at that point.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, anyway, guys, I hope you don't have to use
So
Google
that's
too
your
much.
last
But
question?
the last question, which where did he hit it? And actually,
Oh.
bonus point, if you guys know what happened with the baseball, that's actually a fun story too. So I'll throw that one in there as an ultimate bonus. Whatever happened with the baseball, if you can tell me,
Someone stole it.
you're solid.
Someone stole
You
it.
have to wait till tomorrow to find out.
Louvre Museum in France somehow.
It actually wasn't a baseball. He hit a soccer ball out of the park. That's what was.
He hit a stone like a chunk of rock.
He was skipping rocks.
Yeah, back
Who
then
knows?
they
Who
used
knows?
baseballs back then. They used rocks to hit.
But tomorrow I'll tell you guys, it was in 1914, so it's pretty long time ago. But anyway,
All right.
that wraps it up for the baseball questions. I hope you guys don't have to use Google too much. I mean, I didn't have to come up with them. So if you're a baseball fan, you should know at least some of them. And I'll have the answers for you guys tomorrow, and our producer will put them up on Facebook and Instagram TV for you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on After the Whistle today. It was a pleasure to be here with you again. We will be back 2 weeks from now from 8 to 9 p.m. So we hope you guys stick around and participate in our questions. And like we said, we're going to be next Thursday. Francesco and I will give you some new trivia questions, and we'll have your answers on Friday instead of on the next show. So you guys won't have to wait as long. So thanks again for joining us. Stay safe out there, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. So take care.
Peace.